we'd like to take this on the road.
And what a road it's been for improv comedian, musician, and TV star ER Fightmaster.
Fightmaster. Real last name.
Real last name.
Is it German?
It has to be German, and I actually think it means something like master of the forest. But I really am violent.
From Second City in Chicago to Grey's Anatomy, ER is a trailblazer for the non-binary community. We're talking comedy, being one of the first non-binary characters on network TV, and the challenges of being queer in America today.
What do you think about Zed and Zay and a whole other term?
We are creative and we are thoughtful and we are engineering. If other language becomes used or available, why not?
I'm Matt Rodrigues, reminding you it's okay to ask questions. We're celebrating pioneers in the queer community in hopes of opening minds and hearts through thoughtful conversations. So I'm gonna ask some questions.
What question have you been asked time and time and time again?
I mean, the real one I get all the time is basically, what is non-binary?
To better understand each other, let's talk and listen. Maybe then we'll realize we're a lot more alike than different. And I learned really quick to make sure those questions are good ones.
Do you know what you're gonna do at all?
No, excuse me. No, it's improv.
Okay. Here at the Second City, we actually are very blessed to have a huge long list of friends and alumni who come and perform with us sometimes. So please put your hands together and welcome to the stage to do some improv with us, ER Fightmaster from TV's Grey Anatomy.
When did the funny come into play? I feel like a lot of queer people, when they're younger, lean into the funny.
Well, I think the funny is, it's fun, right? You know, like, it's fun and it's a way to connect. Like, all the queer people I know actually are really funny because a lot of them are so good at connecting. But I do think there is that wall that you put up of like, just in case anyone wants to get a joke in about me or my appearance or something that I'm not even sure what they're gonna joke about, because you don't always even have that language for yourself yet. You're like, okay, well, I'm gonna make me the last person you want to joke about.
How did you navigate the white boy patriarchy that we now associate with improv, that we now talk about and know and like go, oh yeah, that wasn't fair. Like there was all these white dudes on stage and no one else.
My honest answer is people could get really caught up looking at all the white boys that had these spots.
Yeah.
But I found it so boring. And so for me, the people that were
the comedy boring, what they were doing.
Yeah, because it's any like monolith, right? It's like if you only are uplifting one voice, then great. Every time I see them perform, I've already heard that voice. But there was a team in Chicago that really like shook the foundations, and that was 3P, which was an all-black team. And people, they started selling out these shows. We were all going to see 3P, because we hadn't heard that voice yet. And it was the same with, it was like, I think Strawberry Daiquiri, Virgin Daiquiri, that was an all-woman team that people would go and see. And it was all these teams that were all women or all queer people or all black or all people of color, that they became the most interesting thing to see because you hadn't seen it. And those were all people that weren't waiting around for a spot. They were like, great, if the only thing you want is white boys, then we're gonna go do this show over here. And I think Second City, a business, took notice. Everybody's buying a ticket at this theater that's not ours. It's time to make some changes.
Were you voicing your concerns at that time, or was it more just like, I gotta shut up, I gotta do my job? Or were you more along the lines of, we gotta be more representative, we've gotta be more inclusive?
Well, I was in women and gender studies at DePaul.
Right, so you're like living this life and then you're going.
Yeah, so I don't think there's ever been a time where I haven't voiced my opinion.
Okay.
But I didn't think, but it wasn't, I didn't need to voice the opinion that it was like a big knock on these white boys. It was just like, great, it doesn't feel like there's space for us here.
Yeah.
Let's go to this theater where there is space for us, and let's do this show. And then you find the funniest women and queer people and people of color that you can, and you put these shows together, and they're better. they are
Right.
better because there's more voices inside of them. And comedy is about connecting to as many people as possible. And so the shows that are more diverse, even if you're looking at it from a business standpoint, they reach a bigger audience. And so that was what happened. So it wasn't me, raging against the machine by saying it's not fair. It was me saying, oh, how boring. Let's have fun somewhere else.
You started getting into this whole other world of film, which is so different from the stage. What was that exploration like, and did it feel comfortable right away for you?
The first thing that I did on TV that I knew was gonna be on TV was Shrill.
I have to believe that was an incredible experience.
Yeah.
The show is brilliant. And for a chance to you to portray a character like that, not common.
No.
Not common at all.
No.
And for that to be one of your first major
Yeah.
role.
Definitely first major.
Did you realize how special it was? And were you devastated when it ended?
Oh, yeah, I was devastated when it ended. I was also devastated when it ended because I didn't know that it was ending. And so we, anybody who's watched the show, it ends on this kind of like cliffhanger note, and people will come up to me and be like, do you think Fran and Em stayed together? And I'm like, yes.
Isn't it incredible though how people connect to these
Yeah.
characters, and then you see why it's so important?
Yeah.
So from there, were you jobless, or was Grey's already on the horizon?
I think I waited 2 months and then booked Grey's.
What was that like?
It was awesome.
Were you called? Did someone see Shrill? Was it just an audition for?
I think both things are true. I think that I'd probably been seen on Shrill, and so then I was put on a list of actors they were looking at for this role, and then I did a self-tape in my home, and I knew I got it and truly 12 hours later they called me.
Wow. So was there a discussion about this character, and because it was a big deal that they were non-binary, the first doctor or the first person on Grey's to be non-binary?
Yeah, and I think if not the first, like the first or second non-binary character on network TV. I actually wasn't ready at all. I didn't understand what was happening.
Okay, so how did you navigate that? Because there's TikTok trends and TikTok hashtags, and Instagram and YouTube has clips of all of your relationship moments on the show. And I feel like anyone in any place that I identified with you in any kind of way was like, this is our moment. And all of that is coming at you. And you're just like, I got to do my job. I got to do it well and just get through it.
Yeah, but the thing that is also true was I had been a touring comedian for a long time. And so even though I hadn't been on anything as big as Grey's, I had always known that a thing that made me happy was going in front of audiences and them thinking that maybe my identity at first wouldn't be attainable or understandable, and then over the course of a show creating a relationship with them. That season 18, that falling in love on camera, and showing a lot of people what non-binary was, but also that non-binary people could be loved, was like this real spiritual experience.
When did you start thinking, I'm gay, I'm different from other people? When did that become evident to you?
The minute I started women and gender studies. So I was like 19, I guess, and I had,
not till later.
not till later.
Really?
I had
In the middle school, high school,
No.
were you just playing the game? Like,
I had no idea. I grew up at a time in Ohio. I think it's hard for people that are younger than us to believe these things, but I grew up at a time in Ohio where there were no gay people.
yeah.
We just didn't see them. And they weren't even, in a lot of ways, the overt butt of the joke. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a bunch of slurs all the time. It was like every once in a while, some dad would be light in his loafers, and that
Right.
would be an insult that you would hear. Or you would know that a woman was a lesbian because she wasn't conventionally attractive. Would be, so all of these like negative associations with gay people that you're never seeing or meeting. And so I actually was in a relationship with another teenager at like the age of 15. It was a queer relationship, but we didn't even know what we were doing
Right.
because
So you were there, but you weren't there.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of,
would
Block
not
it out.
have known the language that it was gay, what we were doing.
see, I had the same thing, and I said,
Really?
I'm gay, but honestly didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
like there was a very clear gay moment happening. And I said, I think my brother came home and I said, I'm gay. He can't know I'm gay. And I don't know what that even meant. Like I didn't know what I was saying. It was something like 7th or 8th grade.
Interesting.
And didn't know what it meant.
Do you remember having crushes?
No, I never had crushes. I never looked at men and thought, I had crushes on women, like Tiffany from Saved by the Bell, whatever her name, Kelly from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
But didn't know, I didn't. I feel like I became asexual up until college.
Yeah, well, we do that to ourselves,
Yeah.
I think, a lot.
Did you find yourself doing that?
100%.
Yeah.
I was like, all my friends are such idiots. They're they're so boy obsessed. But it's like, no, you're just not at all boy obsessed. And the only men that are like, well, they're gorgeous. Now I dress like them.
Mm-hmm. But right.
Yeah.
You're looking more at admiration. Yes, I get that. I would look at the women and be like, I want to be tan and have those abs. Yeah.
Yeah, and the big hair. It's like when gay men tell me that they have had like crushes on beautiful women, and then somehow at some point in your friendship you see their drag persona and you're like, oh, now that's Tiffany. Yeah.
Okay.
You take gender studies.
I cried the whole time. It was a women in gender studies class, and I just cried the whole time. But I think
In class or privately? Or?
all the time. Like legitimately would be in the class crying, and it was such a visceral unlearning process. Like I had grown up in a really white space. I had grown up around all middle to upper class. Like there was not a lot of diversity in my town. I did not see queer people, and all of the women and men that I did see were acting the same way. So then when you take this class and you're learning about these, interlocking systems of oppression, and you're learning about the ways that, you've participated in holding people down, or the ability to now lift people up, it's like a big cathartic wash where you get to start over. And at the same time, my classmates are all people of color and queer people and women with shaved heads. And so I'm seeing something that I've actually never seen before. Yeah. And it is so immediate that I realize I'm queer.
It was that quick?
Yes.
You didn't fight it?
No, it was like legitimately. Once I had the access to the language, which I think is why the conversation about, banning books and don't say gay laws, lawmakers understand that it is access to language that helps us understand our own identity. If you do not see gay people, you will not know you are gay. If you can see queerness and you have the language for it, and you are queer, you will likely identify as queer. So it's not that the conversation is there are more queer people now than ever because of this indoctrination. No. Yeah,
we were here. We were here. Yes.
And now we have, in the last 10 years, we really got this access to, we've been on TV more, we've had more platforms, we've just had the ability to see each other. So there is an increasing number of queer people, and it's not that they're turning queer, it's that they're finally seeing themselves, which is why we're having this massive pushback.
Right. What were those first words you said? Did you say, I'm gay? Did you say, I'm queer? I guess if you said I'm queer, that's pretty elevated.
I remember thinking maybe I was bi.
Yeah.
Because I just hadn't, I didn't want to rule anything out.
Right. Let's try it all.
Yeah, let's try it all. And then I also didn't want to disappoint anyone. I was so worried that when I did tell my family or people back home, if I hadn't actively pursued men, then it would be a question for them that I hadn't tried.
Right.
And so I did that.
How do you know if you haven't tried?
Yeah. And it turns out that you do know without trying.
You do know.
Yeah.
You absolutely know.
You do not. Yeah. How do you know you don't like to eat ash?
Yeah. I thought you were saying.
No.
I was like,
not here.
It's like, okay.
Yeah.
So how did your family take it?
My mom is so great about it now. At the time, she was really stunned, I think. And at that time, that really hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
I saw it as this big kick in the teeth. But now I tell queer kids that are coming out, you are telling your family something they're not expecting to hear. And just like Some people don't like being watched when they open up a present. Some people will not have the ability to immediately put on the face that you need them to.
Yeah.
They're having their experience with it. So, you know, if you need to come out to your family and you want to do it in writing so that you don't have to see their initial shock, that is an active option, because I needed my mom in that moment to be so excited for me. But my mom and I have talked about it now, and she's like, I had to reimagine your whole life.
Right.
I'm not complaining. I'm just kind of saying it in a fun way so I can hear how it sounds when I say it to someone close to me.
Did you find yourself funnier once you knew you were queer?
100%. But only because I found that my comedy was kinder. I wasn't, once you come out, you're not so worried about people finding out who you are.
That weight.
Yeah, so you're not
You
pushing
can't
all the
describe
time.
it until you go through it.
Yes.
You don't even know it's there.
And you want people, it's like doing a really good drug. You want everybody to hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Come on.
Right here.
Yeah.
And so the minute that you do come out, you're like, all right, everyone, like come in and
Yes.
have a nice time. Where I think when you're closeted, you're kind of like, I'm making jokes, but I'm keeping you at arm's length.
Yeah.
And you don't have the same community because you don't know you're part of one.
Right. Once you come out, you forget how hard it was to come out.
Absolutely.
And then you look back and you go, oh, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah, oh my God. And then it's all older queers sitting there with like young people
Oh,
being
like-
like, you have to tell them.
Yeah, they're like, sweetie.
Go tell your mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Screaming from the mountaintops. When did the word non-binary come into your life? And was it an automatic connection?
It was a person that I was seeing at the time had offhandedly referred to me as they. I was like, but that's been it the whole
You're
time.
like, that's the wrong grammar, though. Did you?
That grammar is.
That grammar is off. Did you have that moment? Because so many people come back with it's not the right grammar kind of thing. What is your response to that? Because I'm sure you've heard it a million times and you want to flip a table.
Well, I try to be really gentle with it because I don't think that we get anywhere by being
Flipping tables.
by flipping tables. But it's somebody left their drink. I hope they come back for it. We actually use they all the time in a singular way. We as a culture have an innate urge to push back against
Any kind of change.
any kind of change. And so we are hearing people say, this is my identity. This is my identity, and I want you to see me. And so I'd appreciate if you would, accept my identity. And people are going,
Wait, what?
no, no, the grammar is not right. Well, even if the grammar was incorrect, somebody's telling you who they believe that they are. That should take precedent. And so for a long time in my life, people were calling me Fight. And I loved that because it was this genderless name. And then when I asked people for they, them, some people started calling me by my birth name again, as if to say, like, you're asking me for a big change? Well, I know who you really are. And the fact of the matter is, no, I know who I really am. And I don't feel like a woman, and I don't feel like a man, and I don't feel a minor discomfort when I'm mistaken for either. I feel dysphoria. I feel like a human being. And just like some people feel really grounded in their womanhood, and some people feel really grounded in their transness, I feel really grounded just being a human being. I'm rejecting the binary.
It's become the new gay marriage,
Yeah.
right? Because gay marriage was the thing that got everyone riled up.
That's true.
On the right. It was like, oh, they want to get married. What are you talking about? And then now that's gone.
Well,
And now we're talking about like, oh, they want to take away their breasts.
yeah,
But this other person wants to get a double D, and that's fine.
100%. Yeah.
I'm not talking about transgender. Like Betty Sue on Main Street wants to get her
We've
boobs
always
enlarged.
been fine with cis people getting surgeries done to make them feel better about the way that they look. We just don't like it when trans people do it. That, and you know what? I firmly believe it's none of my business if someone wants to get a jaw implant to feel like more of a man, or breast implants to feel like more of a woman. That's none of my business. Just like it's not my business if someone wants to get their breasts removed to feel more like themselves. Cis people have been getting surgeries to fit
Yes.
cultural stereotypes for a long time. And you
Yes.
see that in other cultures. We see foot binding so that women could be more feminine. You get breast implants so that women can be more feminine in America. There are a million ways. Even dyeing your hair blonde in the early 2000s
I
was a
feel
way to be like,
attacked. I feel like you're attacking me now.
but
No, yeah.
it's
It's all made up.
And-
It's all made up scenarios.
And if we were going to judge something, that would be people getting surgeries done to fit into a culture instead of a group of people that are getting surgeries done to fit in with themselves. So really...
Put that on a t-shirt.
Put that on a
Put
t-shirt.
that on a t-shirt.
Okay.
The truth is that being visible can be hard. And receiving hatred with grace is a constant practice, a constant conversation with self about worth and resilience. Receiving love with grace requires practice too, because the people who love you actually love what you represent, which is a hopeful future full of self-love.
You got this award from the HRC, from your home state of Ohio. Your speech was magnificent. How did you feel? And that must be the true meaning of full circle.
It felt nice to, in that speech, address trans and non-binary kids, because I do think that the power of representation is that a lot of these kids are being separated from the ways in which they can see themselves, right? It's the same conversation we were having earlier. It's like, I grew up, I could not see myself, so I did not know that I was gay. The reason these kids are attached to me when they watch Grey's Anatomy is because they're seeing themselves for the first time. It actually doesn't have anything to do with me. And now they're being separated from queer programming. We're cutting a bunch of queer characters. We're getting rid of a lot of queer people behind the scenes. We're making laws. We're trying to get them out of sports. We're doing all these things that are trying to separate them from their identity. And the reason that we're doing that is because they have the most powerful identity. There is nothing braver than being a trans kid. And it's not because they're doing something that they're trying to get attention for. The revolutionary part of what trans kids are doing is that they know exactly who they are, in spite of an entire world telling them exactly who they should be. And they are choosing to receive violence in order to be as true to themselves as they can. And in that HRC speech, I just had to tell them how proud I am of them and how much I love them.
That's special. You're a superhero for them.
Well, thank you.
You are. No, it is. They need someone to be their voice because they don't have it yet.
That's crazy. It's weird to be. It's weird to be queer in America right now because we are getting all these concentrated attacks, and it's just like any community. You know, we all love each other. We have our barbecues and we have our meetups and we go to our drag shows and we read our books and we fight and we fall in love and we have family and we have our pets. We are human beings, and our communities are just like people of color in America are being attacked. Queer people are being attacked. For some reason, we have chosen this point in America right now to attack everybody on the margins. And it's a waste of our time. We don't have a lot of time here, but it's also a waste of everybody's time that is attacking us, because while they attack us,
Such a waste of their time.
they're not celebrating their own lives.
No. Thank you so much for doing this.
One more?
That's it. No, I definitely would like one more because I'm not working the rest of the day.
Oh, congrats.
Just so you know. Wait. You eat lemons.
Yeah.
That's the interview. Start it over. Start it over. Roll back the tape. You eat lemons. I heard this on a podcast. Wait, so are those your real teeth?
Yeah.
Okay, because my friend eats lemons, and she had to get her teeth completely redone.
Well, she's weak. She's weak and she's doing it wrong.
When did you start chewing up lemons?
Child.
Really?
My mom eats them, so I eat them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Your mom okay?
No.
How old is she? How old is she? How far
I
along
think
is
she's
she?
65, but she's, and I mean this, and I hope you use this.
Yeah.
She's getting hotter every day.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I'm
Give
saying
me a fucking love that.
it's the citrus. Her skin it's insane. Not bad, huh?
Honestly,
See, everyone's being a little.
it's delicious.
Yeah.
Guests of It's Okay to Ask Questions experience the elevated luxury at the renowned Waldorf Astoria, Chicago. Here, guests looking for the ideal urban escape will find elegant suite options, including terraces with sweeping city views and in-suite fireplaces for intimate evenings. With grand amenities and world-class eating and drinking venues, the Waldorf Astoria, Chicago offers an unforgettable destination.